Good evening and welcome to the regular town board meeting for the town of Tusten for July 14th. The meeting is called to order. Pat, would you like the floor right off the beginning? Sure. Our county legislature.
Put this thing on. It is now, right? You got it? Okay, great. I appreciate that because I do have a meeting that I'm gonna hang around for a little bit, but then I do have a meeting to go down to. So I just wanted to give you guys an update. I think I talked previously about an aquifer study that the county was undertaking, and that has begun, I believe, back in May. We anticipate that study to take about a year. And what we're hoping with that is that that will allow us to have a better understanding of our groundwater, our aquifer systems. So when we're looking at development, our planning boards will have a better idea of what the situation is. And as we know, there's certain areas of the county that have more development going on than others. But, you know, my question is if you want to put in 36 homes out, you know, on our side of the county, how does that impact the wells surrounding it? And nobody can answer that question. So hopefully we'll have a better understanding of that. The county had concluded another study of water systems, and I believe you guys may have been presented with information from the county Department of Planning on that. And what we did there was, we did a study on water systems throughout the county, even though the county itself does not own or operate any water systems, so that some of the towns and villages have a better idea of what some of the needs are. And, you know, if you wanted to, you could share services, you know, with another town to try and reduce cost, or at least, you know, have an idea of what, you know, what's going on. Because I know that there a lot of our water systems in the county are, they're older. It'll be nice to say older. If you guys have noticed in the news, the county has had a sales tax shortfall that we've been talking about now for a while. Our first quarter results put us at almost a 17% shortfall, and I'm happy to report the second quarter is better. We're looking at a 6% shortfall. So hopefully we'll keep trending in the right direction, but you know, we haven't made as much money this year as we did in previous years or that we had budgeted for. So we are currently looking at all expenditures and trying to trim where we can, while still providing services and preserving jobs. So right now, I think that's on the forefront of everyone's mind is, you know, what are we looking at as far as the 27 budget and what kind of tax increase are we looking at? So if anyone has any questions or feedback, you know, I'm always happy to sit down and meet with somebody, and including the town board. If you guys ever want to go over anything, happy to do that. Do you guys have any questions for me? Right.
My first question, thank you for all those updates, but with the sales tax, is that math even over each quarter? So we will see a surge from the summer results, or are they taken from the prior year and they are different targets?
So they're reported quarterly, right? So we just got our second quarter finalized numbers in, and that's why I'm able to speak about it publicly, because we know what we brought in Q2. We can compare it to last year's second quarter, so we know where we are as far as previous years, right? So we're always looking back, but
so it's a comparison, not a budget.
Yeah,
okay.
It is a comparison, but we use past numbers we have to project what we think sales tax is going to be to come up with our budget. So yes, those are accurate numbers, and it's based on past performance based on what we budgeted for in this year.
And then thank you. The other question was just, where are we with the incinerator study?
So there was an RFP out, and I believe all responses are due in the beginning of August. So we're waiting on all responses to come back.
So we might have an update on that in September, October?
Reasonable.
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, I'm not sure when the county will be moving forward with the decision, but I know that all responses are due back in August. Does anyone else? Yeah,
What is the speculation of why the sales tax is dropped off? Is it tourism? Is it?
that's a very good question. No, I'm just gonna, I don't know, I keep talking to people without looking at it. So we know that it is in building materials, right? We are able to track different categories. And I will say that Kathleen Lara, who's our treasurer, has worked very hard, as I'm sure Nancy Buck would have, the previous treasurer, and that's who she worked with for years, to try and track down the nature of it. Because one of my questions to the county treasurer was, if we don't understand why it's happening, how are we gonna make decisions to move forward? So we know it's in building materials. And they have investigated, to see what may be causing that. And unfortunately, it's no quick, easy answer. It's a little of this and a little of that. You know, we have some infrastructure, walls that we've kind of bumped up against. And, you know, 2 years ago here on this side of the county, we had some issues with NICEAG, right? People were having brownouts because NICEAG needed to shore up the infrastructure to continue to provide electricity. So there's some shortfall in energy, water issues on the other side of the county. So that has kind of slowed down some development. There's speculation that some people are going into Pennsylvania to buy building materials where they are not subject to New York state laws, so they don't have to pay sales tax in Sullivan. Whereas people go into Ulster County to buy building materials, they have to pay a Sullivan County tax. There's been investigation as to whether or not people were, you know, miscoding that or, you know, finding ways of getting around that. And so far, we have not seen where that is likely. But we've worked very hard to try and understand the nature of it so that we can make decisions going forward. And my fear was that Sullivan County during COVID saw a real boom, an economic boom. And my concern was that we were the first to see a cooling period. So we're also looking at some other surrounding counties to see if they're seeing any kind of sales tax shortfall as well. But so far, I don't think we've seen evidence of that.
Any conversations with the IDA when they start giving out these sales tax exemptions for people that go to buy these building permits? Or
That's a very good question. And that is something that has come up amongst the legislature is, you know, how do we proceed when, because really those incentives are really to attract and not just giveaways, right? We're here, we want to attract business. And I think one of the prime examples of that, a lot of people are pointing out to the Frito-Lay PepsiCo building, right? Where we had first Ideal Snacks and then PepsiCo. And I don't believe that they left, people were speculating they left because their IDA pilot program was, you know, agreement was coming to an end. Because they shut down a similar plant in Georgia. I think it was just logistical for them. But that has come up, you know, we want to attract people. We don't want to give things away. We want to make sure that we are, we're getting our fair share.
Yeah, that's just a hard one because it falls back to the taxpayer.
Right, and something else to update you guys, and I don't want to monopolize your time, but I know there was a lot of discussion about what happened with the casino and how the county had created this LDC and we had quote unquote, were, you know, saving the casino, which wasn't true at all. There was no Sullivan County taxpayer money that went into any of that. It was advised by the IDA that we create an LDC where they could put their non-gambling assets into, and then they were going to issue bonds. Well, Resorts World has had their own kind of, well, they kind of restructured their debt through some kind of merger. So those bonds are no longer necessary. So what's going to happen with the LDC is that it is going to be dissolved, but it is a process. It has to go through the state attorney general's office to create one, also to dissolve one. So the IDA did give an update about that on Thursday. So while as a legislator, I had information and I kept saying we weren't using Sullivan County taxpayer money, I think a lot of people were just, and I don't blame them, you know, I think if we're thinking the resort world and the casino is big money, why are we flipping the bill for them? And to be fair, nobody in the media had actually accurately recorded it. Even in Nevada, there was an article saying, why doesn't Henderson County bail out Resorts World like Sullivan County did? And we were all like, that's not happening. But there was a lot of things going on at the same time. The casino was applying for a downstate license. We were negotiating with the casino for that, supporting that license. So, but it's all going away. The LDC is going away. There's no Sullivan County taxpayer money that went to the casino. And I know that was a big concern. Kevin, you had
I had a question with Jane basically
Okay.
asked it, but just to refine it a little bit. So you're saying that the shortfall seems to be on the construction building end.
Yeah.
We're not seeing it on the consumer end, on the tourism end. We're not seeing a decline in.
There's a small decline in bed tax. I believe in the first quarter, we saw about a $40,000 decline, but that is a small percentage of what they actually brought in that quarter. And with the change of leadership at the Visitors Association, and they've completely changed strategies. So it seems like that seems appropriate, but it is something that I know I'm keeping an eye on.
Yeah, it just seems, as a barometer of
Yeah.
the county economy, it's an interesting.
Yes, and if anything, the Visitors Association, what they're saying is, we did a study to see if a conference center would be appropriate. And what they came back with the study was that we have a lot of empty rooms midweek, right? So really you want to concentrate on filling your hotels that you have during your high tourism season before you want to think about investing in building something else that'll bring in more people, right? Like you want to kind of address that. So we are paying attention to that and trying to navigate that, but we also negotiated with the casino for them to maybe put in some kind of sports complex for conference center. So anyway, that's it in a nutshell.
I just realized I should have asked one other question. Are there numbers associated with the sales tax shortfall that you can share? What 17% represents and what 6% represents? I know that might,
Yes.
those are hard numbers to pull out of the air, I know.
Yeah, I can actually get back to you on that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I can. All right, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much
Can
for,
I ask a question?
sure.
You mentioned that, during the COVID crisis, that the sales tax and bed tax, I guess, went up.
Mhm.
And I think it's pretty safe to say that that's because people looked at Sullivan County as being clean and clear of infection diseases and what have you. Then you talked about the RFP for the incinerator, which if you put those two things together, get more people in the county and put in the incinerator, you're just working at cross purposes. And I just think that I can't imagine what anybody is thinking about to bring in an industrial forever chemical polluter into this environment is just crazy.
So, although, just to wrap it up, Sullivan County is really complex in our need, but also in, you know, what drives our economy. We are definitely have a, you know, more of a tourism-based economy that we rely on. But we also have some pretty big struggles when it comes to solid waste and how much that costs. I'm personally not in favor of an incinerator, but I also know that we have a solid waste issue that continuously gets more expensive as time goes on. So it's complicated, and it takes a lot of people coming to the table and willing to have open conversation to understand it and to try and find solutions that work for everybody. So I'm not going to pretend like there's any magic bullet. And if anyone here has a magic bullet, I'm interested. But what we know is that when you're trying to solve problems like this, a lot of times it's very nuanced and you have to be very considerate. So
There's nothing nuanced about forever pollution.
I know.
Once it's there, there's no undo button. And I just wanted to say, Kat, thank you so much. This is fantastic that you bring all this information right to our doorstep. We don't even have to struggle to get it. Thank
Well,
you.
I
Thank
appreciate
you.
the time. I really do. Thank you so much.
Okay.
The payment of bills, the general account dispersed $43,055.61, highway $79,396.32, water $7,828.36, sewer $7,624.94, the lighting district $2,582.60, with a capital water of $8,145.28, for a total of $148,633.11. Cass and Greg, I believe, audited the bills. Any questions, discrepancies?
No.
A motion to pay the bills as presented.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, further discussion on them? All in favor? Aye, opposed. For those division reports that we do not read here, we remind people that they will be posted on the website. And we will start out with the Water and Sewer Committee.
Uh, basically, there's a personnel matter which will come up later. And that Craig is consulting with, there's a blast from the water sewer past, Scott Burney. Who, he now works at Schmitz, I believe. And
Yeah.
He, they've been talking about the well two, and there's a, well two was inactive for a long time, so getting it up and in the system is taking longer than they thought, but, Scott should be a good, source of expertise.
I think he came about the time it came in.
Yeah.
It was about that old.
Yeah.
Any questions from the board for water sewer? Parks and public spaces.
We had a good meeting, productive, where am I? There we go. As you all know, we were working on the park, working on the park name this month. And I'll have results from the online polling and the results from this evening. Lots of good growth in the park. Our new bleachers are in place and they look shiny and sturdy and insurance compliant. So that's exciting. And Tim has done a really good job getting those assembled. There are a few little things he had to stop to take a break because of the heat we've been experiencing, but he is confident that that will be done in time for the weekend. For people to enjoy them if there is a gameplay. We have updates. We're getting sand to protect and further define the baselines. There was discussion in September about perhaps hosting some kind of event in the park that would include a ball game and community pickup game, that type of thing, and just celebrating the park. All the trees came through very nicely and are in good shape. We do have the elliptical ordered, which is the next step in the grant, taking advantage of the grant monies. The town hall planters are looking very nice. I am going to approach Home Depot for new planters for the Veterans Park, and those will be replanted this summer. And some maintenance things that we are going on. Talked about the historical marker for Colonel Tusten. And some other markers that people were interested in. We're going to be splitting the cost of that likely with the Historical Society. And had some good public discussion. And that's the update. The more detailed notes are in the agenda.
Thank you. Segue into building.
Also a very robust session. A lot of that is about maintenance issues and some prices we're trying to get in the status of projects. My complete report is in the agenda, so I took a lot of time with parks. I'll leave that as it is.
We thank you. Jane, for the CACN grants?
CAC, we don't have anything to report other than, it should be noted that the zoning committee has been working on updating of the zoning. And we've mentioned the Conservation Advisory Council, in a little more detail in that zoning document so that the planning board really hopefully reach out if they have any concerns about, placement of a certain, I don't know, building, whatever, but we're available. So it's more solidly defined in the zoning. The grants report, I'm happy to report first and foremost that we were paid our $75,000 from National Fish and Wildlife. It is already deposited, hit the bank and everything, so we're very happy about that. I also want to note that money has started to come in from the water grant. We're starting to see a lot of money coming through from the state water grant. Sullivan 180, Greg mentioned that bleachers have been in place and the elliptical machine is ordered, so that's coming along. And the national Harrisburg Beautification Group has done a great job, as they always do. So that's part of the Sullivan 180 grant. The other thing that I did want to ask or report to the board is the UDC tag grant is coming up. And I was going to put in for two things. Now let me just remember what they are. One of them was for the coding to codify the new changes in the zoning. I think that the zoning will go through the board this coming year within 10 to 12 months. So we would want to have some money to have that coded into the town website. So that's one. And the other was to see if they would, which is a little harder, if they would help fund the feasibility study for senior housing. To help fund that, although I should mention that again, which was mentioned last month, is that we're going to be the lead agents, I guess, in the CFA grant, and we're working with Pattern for Progress for a feasibility study for housing here. So that's where we are. Any questions on grants?
No, I'll put that under new business to tag.
Say again?
I'll put that under new business to tag.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Into old business, 3.1 is we've received from the special counsel regarding our lithium pipeline case that we are also in with the county and school districts, a settlement. So we have 3.1 is a resolution that our special counsel is authorized and empowered and directed to do all things of it and execute the documents. So I'll take discussion before making a motion to approve that, if there is any discussion.
So the Millennial Pipeline, it's done, right? They were suing to reduce their,
assessment, and this will result in a reduction, not what they were asking.
not what they were asking for, but there will be, and so we'll see that, the school district will see that, and
School, town,
all across the board, it's a number.
everybody.
And one of the things in this is there is no give back.
Yeah, that's supposedly what we were told, yeah.
I would make the motion to pass a resolution the special counsel has given us regarding that.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion or questions? Okay, or myself, all in favor? Aye, opposed. 3.2.
We had a session where we asked people their opinions on what the name of the park on the flats would be called going forward or renamed. Lots of enthusiasm, which has been exciting. We got a total of 52 votes, 41 online and 11 in person from Tusten residents. There is a clear winner. There also, well, there's clear preference. The people who brought this to our attention in the first place also had done an online petition that unfortunately was hard to access in its full form. It did have 56 signatures in favor of the park being named after the Krauses. It is not possible to verify how many of them are from Tusten versus people who weigh in on things online. So that is a factor here, and there are 56 signatures on that. I have screenshots of the names that participated, some of whom also participated correctly in sending in a preference for the name. So in terms of the totals of people's preferences, Krause Park, which we polled with or without the first names, just because the spirit seemed the same, had a total of 13 poll responses. Art and Beth Peck Memorial Park had 3 responses. Tusten Community Park had a total of 26 responses. Volunteer Park has 2. Big Eddy Community Park has 4. Tusten Legacy Park has 1. Delaware Park has 1. Tusten Park at the Flats has 1. And boy, my ego is just smarting. I had submitted the name Eagle Park and it had not a single vote until this evening. Thank you, Donovan. So anyway, so it flew through. Anyway, those are the results. So in terms of the process that we set for this, we do have a clear winner with 26 responses for Tusten Community Park being the preference. I do want to also shout out the entire Parks and Public Spaces Committee in their involvement for this, all of whom are in attendance tonight, and that is very much appreciated and helping with the in-person polling. Also a shout out to Mike and Anthony, Mike Farrell and Anthony Lombardo for participating in the subcommittee to come up with options and have a robust discussion for that. So, having never done anything like this before, is it appropriate for me as a leader to the park committee to make a recommendation?
I think that would be a bang up idea.
Okay, well, just owning my own opinion. I feel as though since we already have 2 components of the park that are named after people who have committed public service and been acknowledged for so, and the class of, I believe, 1970 or 71 from the high school, raising money that gave them naming rights for the sports court. They did a very nice job and we were overdue in fulfilling that. But given that we do have aspects of the park that are directly named after people, and given the sentiment of the online polling, my recommendation would be to name the park Tusten Community Park and name the playground after the Krauses in the same spirit in which we named other components of the park. That way, the majority of people in this situation will have been heard. We will be consistent with different things being named after different people in the community. And I myself have so many good things that I could say about Ed and Doreen, everything they contributed and the efforts that they made in the park throughout their time with us. So to me, that is what is the appropriate path forward.
Board comment? Discussion? Comment or discussion?
You know, I see my name on the petition that I signed 8 months ago. And it was my pleasure to sign that petition. Ed and Doreen were neighbors, but that was not the only thing that figured into my excitement about them being, you know, remembered that way. But then when the new names came out, there was Art and Beth Peck, who are also very close to my heart, and also neighbors and good friends. And I couldn't choose between the Krauses and the Pecks. So I thought the Tusten Community Park was a really good solution for that. And I love your idea about naming the playground after Ed and Doreen. And they would want us to keep it really nice.
So am I correct in saying that you've got a motion before the board to name the park on the flats, Tusten Community Park, and to also name the playground area for the children in memory of Ed and Doreen?
Yes, and with similar graphics and intention, so it is consistent on some level with what we have done with the ball field and the sports court. All of which I'm very pleased with how it looks. I think it's very crisp, it's very professional, it's clear. The graphic designers did a wonderful job. So I would like to see that continue. And in terms of how I would recommend, but we will talk about it with the committee. On the pavilion, there is a kind of rough looking hardware driven finish where the roof meets the structure. And I was thinking we could put a long, narrow name on both, sign on both sides of that to kind of broadcast and be above everything else.
Your town clerk said something? Or just-
Yep.
As a town clerk, we have a few other, there's events throughout the town that happen down there. And we do need a board, a bulletin down there. So just something to add to your public parks, and maybe if you want to put something like that on that as well, just throwing it out there.
Thank you.
Well,
I'll get more details for that before our August meeting.
So that's your motion.
Unless there's more discussion,
Well,
that
I
is
would
my
think-
motion.
I just
without
wanted to say,
discussion.
thanks for the committee. You guys did a lot of work. It also seemed to be a good task that brought people together and a lot of interest. And my only totally pain 11th hour recommendation, or not recommendation, just the nerdy Virgo copy editor in me.
Mhm.
Is Tusten even necessary?
Tusten, what did I do?
Tusten Community Park. Why is Tusten, why?
I personally find it, the specificity of that nice,
Yeah.
especially considering that
I'm just
we
saying,
get
community,
visitors
we
from
know
other
what town we're in.
communities, so I like the
This is
thought.
just how I think, I'm
Or
sorry.
you could drop, or just go, or you say maybe,
Just go to Community Park.
or Tustin Park?
Let the record show that Kevin is against Tustin.
There's just a little.
We're not starting over,
There's
Kevin.
a little horrible part of my.
Well,
brain
the other part of that, I would say, Kevin, is
what the guy is? I think it's Pittsburgh and what he's done.
people did express their preferences for the name as it exists.
Okay, I just couldn't.
Did you vote, Kevin?
No, I didn't.
And I would like to point out that we will be using building supplies
Could be
to
too.
bring the sign.
Do I have a second? Do I have a second on Greg's motion?
I'll second it.
Is there further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and opposed?
Can I just ask a question since we're on park? Did you order bases?
we're working on that. I'm gonna see if I can actually get the same. We're going to try to go through sort of.
3.3 and continuing with our park theme is the authorization to purchase the aluminum bleachers and the chain link guardrails in the amount of $6,763.11 from Gopher. And the purchase of the outdoor gym elliptical cross trainer from Gopher in the amount of $3,559.11.
Which it should be noted are well covered under the grant.
You need a motion?
I need a motion.
Sure, I'll move that.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 3.4 is, as was alluded to in the Water and Sewer Committee report, is an authorization to allow the supervisor to hire a water wastewater treatment plant operator, with a 6-month probationary period. The department had, the committee and the superintendent has done an interview, and they do have to go into it.
So I'll make that motion if you need a motion.
I'll second it.
Further discussion?
Is the pay rate going to be that is what is in the contract?
It has to go by the,
Okay,
it will be in the contract, yes.
date of hire,
As soon as we can get him in.
Okay.
So I would do the motion as authorized supervisor to do it with a date of hire as close to today as possible.
thank you.
You're welcome. No further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? New business, the baseball backstop. I've been compiling some information and quotes for a baseball field backstop that will be exactly the same as the style that is there right now. Looking for authorization at this point, it looks like the lowest quote that I'm getting is $11,999 from Ketchum Fence. The other ones that I've got are coming in between $7,000 and $9,000 without delivery, setup, or takedown. This second one that I got here actually came out to $11,080 without any of those things.
Without any of those things like delivery and stuff.
Yeah, those did not include the delivery and setup. Ketchum Fence is working 4 to 5 weeks out right now. But I am looking for authorization to purchase a backstop at the lowest quote that I can get at this point is Ketchum Fencing, but I'm looking for the authorization. I would say no more than $11,999 would be the limit on it so that we can get it and move forward with it.
I think, again, this is like,
Part of this is gonna come out of Jane's grant, some of it will come out of our actual,
I think we did save
Budget.
some money on the purchases through the state system, so.
yes, your bleachers you save 6,000 on. Plus what I've got in the other budget will be, we're not going to look to hurt anybody.
And then their amount is to include the takedown and setup.
That includes every, takedown, takeaway, and install.
And in, I
And
guess
we'll include the side brackets also, where the benches are.
that was my first question. And then the second question would be, we would have them by the end of this summer, it sounds like, with the timeline, by Labor Day.
I called Ketchum Fencing on Monday. No, I'm sorry, it was the week before. I called them on a Monday. They showed up at 9 o'clock the next morning. They had a quote at 1 o'clock that day that I saw them. The others are just, the prices are high enough and but yes, they told me they were working 4 to 5 weeks out. And I can finalize a date with them before I would sign anything for them. I would get a commitment from them.
so you need a motion?
I do.
Move that.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed. The sand, it looks like it's going to end up coming from, Devitt's, which is actually in New Windsor, New York. They've got the lowest price and their trucking is also lower than coming from West Milford. I spoke to Don, he mentioned he might want to go get it to save the shipping, which is $700. But depending on how many yards, he's gonna let me know how many yards and then how much we can save over. That, even if I use their shipping and I got a 20-ton truck, which I don't believe we're gonna need, it would be about $2,900. So. And that can be here as soon as I work with Lee and find out when her weeds are done, we can find them back.
Great.
So. I don't think I need an authorization for that, but I would take one if anybody wanted to make a motion to authorize superintendent or supervisor to purchase sand for the ball field.
I will make that motion.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed. 4.2 is a standard workday for elected officials. This is establishing one for the town justice, Clue Padu. His current term is 1/1/26 through 12/31/28. Standard workday is 6. Record of activities 1.78. What is that 1.78?
That essentially is how many hours you work per day.
Okay,
It adds up the total amount of hours and then it breaks it down by 3 months.
and this is for
Standard
the
workday.
state retirement
Yes.
system. So I would have,
And the standard workday is something the town board has chosen years ago.
I would move that motion for standard workday for Judge Padu.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed. 4.3, 4.4, we are going to move that into August, regarding budget. We will replace that with the tag grant that Jane was talking about. And an authorization for her to apply to the Upper Delaware Council. For 1 to codify the new zoning and for the senior housing feasibility study. That sound correct, Jane?
Yes.
I would make that motion to approve or to apply for those grants to the Upper Delaware Council.
I'll second.
Further discussion? All in favor? Aye, opposed. Do we have any other new business or old business that I forgot before the board?
Oh, I just want to ask, this is, I guess, a great question. And I'm sure you guys are gonna do this, but is there a timeline for like a little, when the new, the park is named and signs go up and everything, will there be a little opening ceremony, you know, kind of like we did for the,
Yes.
is that scheduled or?
It is not scheduled because we need the timeline since we're doing the fencing and the
Okay.
sand. Once we have a timeline for all of that, I would imagine it will be sometime in September.
Yeah.
So that it's a little cooler and
Exactly.
maybe we actually enjoy a
December
fall
might be
day.
cooler.
But yes,
Good.
that
I
is
think
the
that's something to
goal.
look forward to.
I believe Fabiana was the first one to suggest that, and we're going to follow up on it.
I have a question. So NICEAG has been cutting tree branches around town,
Okay,
using that company.
NGG.
NGG. And, I'm sure they've done a very good job, largely. But on my street, Second Avenue, which is a pretty small street, they took one of the most beautiful trees in town, and kind of butchered it. But, you know, okay, that's nice, and they need to do what they need to do. It was a shame because it was a crouse tree. It was beautiful. Kind of a tree hugger. So then they took a tree on my property right across the road that is on its last legs, let's say. It was on its last legs 26 years ago when I moved in. And they butchered a couple of limbs and left them hanging. Now, they were there for several hours that day and they were pushing things into the chipper and, you know, shredding everything. And they left this huge branch right at the base of my tree. Anyway, my question is, who are you gonna call?
Please send a phone number.
I can give you a contact,
Oh, great.
You're so kind. Probably say what I give to, huh?
probably.
Yeah, he'll take care of it.
Yeah.
Okay, great, thank you.
He is good that way.
I will say, once I had very good luck, they were in the process of starting to do not considered job. And I just went out and said, if it's easier for you, take the whole tree and they.
So I did the same thing, but maybe not as smoothly as you did. I just went out, I didn't yell, I just went out and looked and looked and looked. And then started to walk back down my driveway and the guy came out and said,
You look too long.
oh, do you have any questions? And I was like, yeah, it's a shame you had to butcher that tree, but this one, you know, could just come down. And he said, oh, well, there'll be somebody else following up on that. And they'll probably just take that tree down. And that didn't happen. And then the other day I was sitting in my neighbor's shack and looking out the window, and there were the two trucks coming down the road, and they stopped right in front of my house, and then they left. They didn't do anything. Okay, thanks.
Let the record state, I asked
Venting.
them to leave mulch behind and they didn't.
If there's no other new business before the board, I will open up for public comment. We'll start on the floor. Yes.
Hello, everybody. I see some new faces here. I am Peter DeAngelis, the Soil Control Officer for the town of Tusten. With Riverfest coming up on us, I would like to come up with a date by next week so I can make flyers to give out at Riverfest. Dr. Hess and his wife Leslie said to me the tech that's going to be doing it can only work on Wednesday and Thursday nights. So it would have to be from 5:30 to 7:30.
Be on a Wednesday.
Wednesday or Thursday.
Would have to be on
It
a
would have to
Wednesday.
be a Wednesday. So we'll probably do it in Firehouse. I spoke with Dave already.
Doing what?
Tell her what you.
What are you talking about?
I'm doing a free rabies clinic.
Oh, great,
Sullivan County, Joanne
great.
Giroux will be supplying me, she's gonna help me get hopefully at least 100 vaccinations. The needles to administer it, the tags and the certificates. His vet will, tech will put her stamp on it or his stamp. So it's free at the firehouse. We just need, that's the last step. Come up with the date
So then if it's over there, it can be Wednesday or
because
Thursday.
the vaccines need to be shipped and I don't know what their shelf life is.
Mhm.
So, you know, I need a date, so Joanne can order them,
Okay, so you need to. speak
and I
with the
think
fire
they ship
department
right
find
to
out-
Dr. Hess.
Find out from the fire department which day, which Wednesday or Thursday works for them, it's their building.
Yeah.
And
Thursday,
that would be
they-
how you pick your date.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
That's it.
Good, thank you.
You're gonna have a
Thank
booth at
you.
Riverfest, all right?
That's why he.
Oh, yeah, that's why I need the flyers for, because I'm gonna also have the dog law education booth,
Ooh.
at Riverfest again, with information, what we expect from dog owners, which repeat offenders continue to fail in the town.
Well, let us know what we can do. We can always get you fired.
Thank you.
Yeah, I had a question about the new hire off of, water and sewer. Was that part of the budget, or is that, I'm not sure what,
We
I
did not have a fourth person in there, but due to circumstances that are arising, we need one and we've got money in the budget that will take care of it, yes.
Oh, one more thing, I'm thinking of a date in September, being it's
cooler.
and the daylight.
Hmm.
So people are not driving at night. So they get there, what do you think it gets dark out in September, but, you know, I don't,
Some Wednesday in September will be the rabies.
yeah,
Good.
probably.
Anybody else on the floor?
Find out.
Yes, Star. Welcome back.
Thank
We've
you.
missed you.
My name is Star Hesse, and I'd like to just raise a point that I've brought up quite a few times before, and that is the availability of the agendas for these meetings. As of 5 o'clock today, I was checking online, there was nothing posted at all. And when we came in here, I noticed that the agendas that they were handing out were like one page, two-sided, but the board seemed to be referring to a multi-page agenda. I don't know if there's additional information on that, but I would like to ask that first, any agenda that is posted should be posted in a timely fashion so people can read it before they get down here. And I would like very much to have just as much information on the handouts as are in front of the board members when the meeting starts. So that's just one point. The only other thing I wanted to mention was that Kevin's nerdy point about not having Tusten on the park name, identifying it, might have an actual basis in fact, because as far as I know, no one outside of Narrowsburg was allowed to contribute to choosing the name. So identifying it as Tusten wasn't even on the agenda or the menu. So I think that maybe he had a point that it should just be the community park. Thank you.
Other comments from the floor? Yes, sir.
Hi, I've been away for some time. Did the idea of the bocce ball court survive?
It has been being discussed and we're talking about it for next year's goals. And we've investigated how much space it would take and best places. There's some other discussion, but yes, it has been followed up on and will continue to be discussed.
Anytime you need help, you can count on me now. I guess the other is a comment. We were coming back from Homestead today. We went around the blind corner before the PA boat access. and there were two large tour buses taking up the whole lane without flashing emergency lights. We managed to stop the pickup truck and the utility truck that were behind us. Fortunately, were able to pass us by. Otherwise, it would have been a massive collision. Anyway, coming off the Narrowsburg Bridge and heading up to the light, there was another one of the same buses sitting in front of the old auto parts store, taking up virtually the entire lane. So I sent the state police a report on that. So that's one thing that I think needs to be looked into. And secondly, because we live where Kirk's Road meets 97, the number of lanes that now enter onto those roads is causing, because we live there, we hear the screeching. We haven't heard the crashes, but we've heard numerous late night examples of people that are avoiding collisions. That's something to talk to the state police about too. I know, Ben, that you had those discussions. I just thought I'd update you.
Thank you. Anybody else on the floor before we go into the Zoom? Nothing on Zoom? Or are you just ignoring me?
We're asking it, yes. Go ahead, Mike. Oh, no, I'm using someone else.
Yeah, you understand it.
You can, Mike, you can unmute yourself.
There you go.
Now unmuted.
Yeah.
There you go.
Just wanted to tell everybody that in the spirit of the other commemoratives down in the park, Anthony and I are undertaking a fundraising effort. We will pay for the Ed and Doreen signage. So whatever happens down there will happen at no cost to the town.
Gold leaf is okay, Michael?
Pardon? Gold leaf? Oh, yes. But again, in the interest of consistency, as Greg has indicated, we will we'll raise the money to pick up the tab, and we can get that done, and it should not come at the town's expense.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Did you have anyone else on?
Not that I see, no.
Board comment?
Riverfest is the 26th. It always starts with the dog parade. We're gonna MC again for the 9,000th year. So I want to see you there, 10 o'clock. Bring your dogs, dress them up.
My dogs will not be participating, so your dogs will have a chance. Just a couple of other things. Star, if I understood the point you were making, I did make it very clear in the request for online polling as well as the in-person polling that it was Tusten residents weighing in, and more communities than Narrowsburg did definitely participate in that. So just to be clear. And I also forgot to mention, I believe when we were talking about the vote, there was so much enthusiasm about participating and being polled and reached out to. I hope that we can build on that and find other ways to do that in the future. And I really appreciated the spirit in which everyone participated. And then the last thing I just wanted to say is, in case people did not see the announcement, Governor Hochul this week did sign a one-year moratorium on data centers in the state of New York. It's a 1 year, it's a 1 year moratorium, but we'll see where that leads. But hopefully that will calm people down, because I know it's been front of mind for a lot of people.
We also said that New York State is the only one that has done that so far.
Yeah, what about PA?
There's a very interesting article in the, I believe the latest issue of the River Reporter about the latest legislation, legislative session in Pennsylvania. It's definitely worth checking out.
Then I have something.
Okay.
First, Joe, I want you to know that our town clerk was on that bus business right away. She
good.
saw them out there
I
and
didn't
she
even
told
get out
them
the
they had
driver's
to
seat, I
move.
was out. And we took them parked them. I said, you cannot. And he said, and you know what he told me? He said, we'll talk later. I said, excuse me, you need to get back in the buses and they need to move now. You cannot park here. You need to go now. So I was out there in my dress and all. But I agree, like, there's no room for you.
Don't mess with Crystal.
The other thing is, and I forgot to mention it to you, but I'm glad Kat's here. I went to a meeting at the county level about the land bank, and it was kind of interesting. And I don't think we know a lot about the land bank, and then it dawned on me, there are a lot of departments in the county that we don't maybe know very much. And a lot of those departments would be willing to address us. And I didn't know if that was something that the board would like to have. Is a visitor, you give them 20 minutes to talk about their particular service that they provide.
It's something that came up last year when we were talking about a 9% tax hike.
Mhm.
I mean, how do you justify that if people don't understand what the county government does? Right, and I know I haven't been to many of your meetings lately, and that's why I like being here. This is to kind of give you guys like a little update on what's going, so you know what county government does for you, but that's a very good suggestion, Jane.
So I can follow through on that. Okay.
Absolutely. Any other board comment?
The DMV is here next Tuesday.
Not more bad for you to read.
10, right?
10 from 10 to 3. You don't actually have to have an appointment, just saying.
Oh.
It's such a wonderful service.
Yeah.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll move that.
Second? I'll second. All in favor?
Uh,
Thank you, folks.
Yes.
So,
Oh, boy. I know, I have to do that.